Yeah, really. Wonder. All right, all right, all right. I should put the music down a little bit more, I'm thinking. Let's just get right into this tonight, guys. I am streaming right now on all platforms. I decided what I would do with my musings of a madman, which is just me kind of talking personal. A lot of times, not too much really planned. Digging into more spiritual, religious, moral, and talking the news, talking the topics of the day, even too. Um, I figured I would open up the first 30 minutes. We'll put it on all platforms, and then we're gonna go premium, right? Because this is my premium content that I'm still working on, guys. I'm still working on this, but this is the premium content that I'm trying to work on and do for Rumble, because I got accepted into the creators program, and they do have us. We have to commit to so many hours of premium streaming. Hopefully, the premium streaming will get better. Hopefully, we'll get more recognition. More people will, kind of get to see us, especially when we're doing our premium content. Would be great. And I'm not the only one that would love to see that. I know others have voiced their concerns that when they go premium, they don't really get a lot of views right now. So it was nice when we were on the front page. I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was legal issues or what happened, but they pulled that really quick. So they took the premium badge away from us, and they pulled us from the front page. So not sure what that was all about, but I'm assuming it had some type of legal issues surrounding it. And that's fine. We're gonna still work with this. We're still gonna produce produce our premium content and keep moving forward, even when Rumble makes stupid choices and stupid mistakes, just like we make stupid choices and stupid mistakes at times too, right? We're just gonna keep plugging ahead. We're gonna keep trying to carve out a spot in this digital universe, right? So thank you everybody that's tuning in on all the platforms. Like I said, the first 30 minutes of this is going to be for everybody, and then I'm going to be going premium over on Rumble, which means you need a premium account on Rumble to watch the rest of it. But I do appreciate you guys. This isn't all my content isn't gated. This is just the content for Rumble, for premium. I have content over there on Rumble that has not been, is not gated off. There's a lot to talk about today too, guys. A lot to talk about. I'm trying to wrap my head around a few things, and I'm trying to offer things in a very reasonable, not off the cuff or hot-headed manner when it comes to certain topics that I'm going to be discussing later. But there is quite a bit, and I think we can always just give you a preview of things, right? So why don't we hop on over? We'll start with this, and I think this should play. But we had that wonderful all women went none of them were trained astronauts, and they didn't pilot anything. You know what I mean? They weren't a crew. They were passengers on supposedly a missile flight that looked a lot like a large penis that went into space. I think it went into the upper atmosphere of Earth. I don't think it ever went into space, in all honesty. And now people are even questioning if the whole thing was just faked completely, because some concerning things happened, and it happened live, as they were welcoming these women back to Earth. So I'm just going to play this one. This is one that Melanie Mack shared, but tons of people have been sharing this video. I'm just gonna play this one. Let me pop this up. I'm gonna see if some of these changes I did are gonna work as well. So let's see here.
From the capsule, a lady that was standing by Jeff Bezos ran over to the door and said something, probably like, "Don't do that. You can't do that. It's showing. Don't open it. Don't open it." But it was already too late, y'all. It was on live feed. But you know, they still had to try to play it off somehow. So the people from the live crew that was talking was like, Jeff Bezos is about to open the door from the outside. He about to open the hatch. And then Jeff Bezos went over there with some little key or whatever. And then he act like he was opening the door when we all just seen that the door opened from the inside. That's not supposed to happen. You cannot open that capsule from the inside. It's pressurized. It's closed from the outside and locked and sealed. So how did they open it? Somebody on that jump opened it. So you mean to tell me they got blasted up in space, they did their little space shit, then they came back down falling probably like 700 miles an hour to hit the floor and for one of them to unbuckle their seat and open the door?
Okay, so that doesn't happen, right? So was the whole thing faked? Because that doesn't happen. Doors don't open from the inside when it comes to spaceships because it's pressurized. It has to open from the outside so that everything seals tight and you don't get that vacuum that sucks you out into space happening, right? So was the whole thing faked? I think so. I think the whole thing was faked. And I don't think there's any hiding it anymore. It was caught live on a live feed. There's no hiding this. He faked the whole fucking thing. So yeah, another Smollett failed story. And Twitter especially is just like rife with all this being posted about the failed mission to space for these women. And earlier when they were showing videos of them inside and the way the windows looked and everything, it just did not look like it was authentic. It didn't look like it was authentic to me at all. And then now this happens. So it's kind of hilarious. It's just amazing. So we're going to be talking maybe a little bit more about that today as well. We're just going to hit some of the highlights, I guess, here. Taylor Swift has refused to sing and dance at future White House events if called. So she's just trying to avoid any political attention, I guess, because she's had enough. I'm sure her career has kind of tanked a little bit with all that nonsense that she had going on there with the Kamala campaign. I'm sure she took quite a beating. So let's see if there's any other highlights. But we will be talking about what happened over on Rumble. That will definitely be a big discussion. I'm saving that for the premium version. But we will be talking about that as well. And then you got everybody suing everybody. Everybody's suing everybody lately. Trump's suing, I forget who it is. Is it Facebook? For billions of dollars or something. And then I got Valentina Gomez. I'm going to federal court seeking $17.76 million. Okay. I like the girl, but she does do a lot of PR stunts, right? She does do a lot of PR stunts, keeping her name out there in the public. So I don't even know if this is going to end up being a really serious court case or not. We'll see. And then you got Farm Girl Carrie. What's this? Please convince me this isn't true. What do you all think? Sure am glad Dan Bongino quit his radio show to take a job for less money and won't let him do anything. They sure knew how to get him off the air, didn't they? That was brilliant. Okay. I like Dan Bongino, but just like Trump and just like all the other ones, I have no problem calling out when I don't see action being taken. And it is quite possible. I even said this way back before Dan officially even was going to be taking the position, that they would try to take him off the air because he was one of the, well, no, I'm just going to say it, besides him and Charlie Kirk, but he was the most powerful conservative libertarian. He leans libertarian on a lot of things, voice out there. He had a growing number of people listening and watching him, and what better way to diminish his reach, diminish the information, and the way he thinks, helping other people to think better. What better way to do that than to offer him a position, get him in there, and then just bog him down with paperwork and red tape and who knows what else. I hope that's not true. I hope it's not true, because like I said, I like Dan. He came across all the time to me as a very sincere man. And it would really suck if this was what somebody was trying to do, or if Dan sold his soul to the other side, which I refuse to accept that. It's in the back of my mind, but I refuse to accept that right now. And I personally met Kash Patel. He was at one of these Reawaken tours in my area, and I don't know if I just hit it at the right time of day or not, but nobody was really at his booth. So I stopped over, I shook his hand, I talked to some of his crew, and then I saw nobody was still over there. It just might have been an early morning thing or something. So I said, Cash, can I talk to you for a little bit? I said, I know I don't know you or anything. He goes, yeah. He goes, what do you want to talk about? So we talked. I think we talked for about 20 minutes. I like the guy. I do like the guy. But I'm questioning what's going on over there at the FBI, because it seems like nothing's going on. Nothing of some significance. I mean, where is the Epstein files? Right? Where's the Epstein files? Why do we not have that? We should have the Epstein. We should have the MLK files. We should have the Robert Kennedy Jr. files. We should have all these. We should have all these files. We should have all this stuff being released. Unfortunately, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, Trump administration still does not seem very transparent. They love going on Fox News and doing Fox News hits. I don't know if Dan's been doing a lot of them or not. He seems to have gone kind of radio silence, hasn't he? But everybody else does. Pam Bondi, oh my God, how many is she doing a day? She's like on every, not just Fox, but she's like on a bunch of different news stations and podcasts and different things, like on a daily basis, it seems. It's like, do your freaking job. And don't get me started on Kristi Noem, because I like Kristi Noem. I've always liked her. I followed her for a long time. I was actually looking to move out that way. The only thing that really hinders me is I'm already from a northern upstate area in the United States here, and I would just be transplanting myself over to another cold, snowy northern area, and I didn't know if I wanted to do that. But her state, her state that she ran as governor there has done incredibly well, especially through the COVID period. So I really was considering moving there. So I really did. I followed her for a good bit of time. But what she's doing lately, I don't know what is going on. We don't need a Barbie doll in front of the camera. We don't need her posing for horribly fake, photo ops where she doesn't even know how to hold the gun properly, which amazes me because she grew up on a farm. She knows how to hold a gun. She knows how to shoot a gun. I don't know why she was holding that gun that way, especially an automatic weapon. If you got somebody near you like that, you don't hold the weapon up in the air like that near somebody's face. You aim it to the ground, right? I mean, I'm not from the military, but you know, it just makes sense to me. You don't hold it so that it's right near somebody's head. I remember when I was a kid getting yelled at all the time doing that around my brothers and stuff when we would go hunting, you know, and they'd let me go when I was younger. Um, so I don't understand that. She needs to get off. She needs to get off the camera, get off Fox News, and just do your job. Your actions will speak louder than anything you can say on mainstream media. So, all right, we'll move on from there. That all got triggered from Dan. I just wanted to see what else is showing up. We can recycle this too. Oh, this is good. This is good too. Kurt Weldon. We're going to get into that. I believe, wasn't that the guy that Tucker Carlson interviewed? Yeah, Tucker Carlson interview. We're going to get into that. I'll search for some of that later. Alex had a couple of really good clips of Kurt. And of course, Tucker has the full 1 hour plus interview. You know, right? I believe it's right up here on X on his account. You can watch it anytime. But we will get into that. That was pretty powerful interviews. Um, Kurt Weldon coming forward as a whistleblower and really telling what he knew. The truth is coming out. 9/11 was an inside job. Israelis were involved in 9/11 just as much as they were involved in the JFK assassination. Does that make all of Israel evil? No. But the people in charge are evil. Right? We don't know how deep it goes, but the people in charge are evil over there. All right. Everybody's getting chickens. I see these. I just got to comment on this. Every single time I come to the Twitter, I see somebody posting about they either got chickens or they're raising chickens or they're posting their egg counts. I wish I could raise chickens where I'm at. I can't. But I do. We do have a lot of local farmers in the area, and I try to buy from them as much as I can. And in all honesty, this one lady hasn't raised her price all through COVID, all through this whole bird flu thing. She hasn't raised her price. I do believe today a dozen eggs from her is still $2.50. And she can't say that they're organic, but she does a really good job of letting them graze wildly, you know what I mean? And then she does give them a little bit of feed, and she feeds them, you know, their food scraps and you know what else. So I trust that her eggs are probably better than half the eggs you can buy in the grocery store anyways. So whenever I can get out that way, because she is a little distance from me, I pick up eggs from her because I do go through a good bit of eggs. I love doing eggs. Um, Eggs are the miracle food. Eggs are the miracle food, right? All right. And then this is my post. We're going to get into this later. This is a little uproar that happened at on with Rumble on Rumble. Um, we'll be talking about that later. I'm sure we're going to hit on probably some RFK news. But the Weldon, see another post there, the Weldon and talking about what happened over on Rumble there. That's gonna be a good portion of what I want to talk about, anyways, and then we'll get into some spiritual talk, stuff like that as well. Um, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. So we are approaching the half-hour mark here in a little bit. Anybody that wants to continue supporting and watching my stream, head on over to Rumble, get premium, get the premium. It's $10 a month. not that expensive, and you can watch the premium content over there. That's going to happen here in less than 10 minutes. So just a heads up to everybody watching on the other platforms. We will be switching it up, and um, we will be going premium here in a little bit. All right, and before we go premium, what I want to do, and I thought this would be a good thing to do on this type of broadcast where I get a little bit more personal. We go a little bit deeper, right? I thought it'd be a great idea. I am a huge fan of Oswald Chambers. If you don't know who he is, and you claim to be a Christian, you claim to be a believer of Jesus Christ, get his books, find his writings. My Utmost for His Highest was a book. I got it somewhere. It's probably in my other bookshelf. I don't think I brought it out here. It was one of his greatest writings, was My Utmost for His Highest, but he's got a lot of other great writings. And so what they've done is they've turned that theme of My Utmost for His Highest into like a daily, like My Daily Bread or Our Daily Bread and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do these. I know that not everybody might not be, religious, might not be a Christian who comes in and watches the broadcast, but bear with me. It's not going to hurt you, right? So this one's called Taking Down the High Places. Although he did not remove the high places from Israel, Asa's heart was fully committed to the Lord all his life. 2 Chronicles 15:17. Asa was one of the kings, right? One of the kings of old. And can we say that of ourselves? Do we know ourselves that much that we can say we were fully committed to the Lord all our life? I know when I was younger I couldn't say that. I grew up in a Christian home. Christian family. And I've been a believer all my life. But there were some times that I had my wayward moments where we questioned everything. And so I don't know. We struggle, but deep down in our hearts, I remember here. I'm going to share this with you before I have to go to the premium content, guys. I remember when I was a kid. I was probably around 12, maybe in my teens, early teens, right? And I was always my mind has always been that way. It's always been it never stops. Never stops. I always got thoughts rolling through my head. Sometimes it's even hard for me to go to sleep at night because thoughts just roll through my head. Spiritual thoughts, mostly spiritual thoughts, but other thoughts as well. I remember as a kid, I had a vision or an out of body experience. I'm not quite sure how to explain it, where I was in Africa and I was praying around a big bonfire. I was praying with the Africans. I was watching people getting healed in front of me. I watched a leg grow back in front of me. And all types of things were going on. And of course, the Africans were dancing around the fire, doing their African dance. And it felt real. It felt like I was there. I don't remember dreams very often, but that one, if it was a dream, I remembered it. And if it was something else, I don't know. To this day, I still don't know what it meant. I've never been to Africa. You know what I mean? I've never been on a mission trip to Africa. But there's moments like that that just stick with you, right? When you're a kid. And I remember one time, God, I got a little sidetracked there. I remember one time when I was really young, I went up to my dad and I was talking to him, about God. How do you know he's real? You can't see him, you can't hear him directly, um, can't touch him. How do you know he's real, Dad? How do you know you haven't just bought into some type of a crazy belief? Something that people would call, nonsense and all that. I'm sure I worded it differently as a young kid, but basically that was the gist of it. And I remember my dad looked at me for what seemed like a minute, and then got down a little bit closer to me, looked me as directly in the eyes as he could. And I remember him saying, if it ends up all being a lie, and I turned out to be a fool to believe in a God and a creator and someone that loved me to send his son to die for our sins, what harm has it done? Did I not become a better person because of it? Which he did. You look at his younger years, he was definitely a much better person. And haven't you benefited from that as my son? And he said to me, if it's all folly, I gladly will be the fool. That stuck with me. That stuck with me. And to this day, sorry, I'm getting a little choked up. To this day, I truly believe that is one of the major things that got me through all the times where I felt like even killing myself at one point. It got me through all of those. And so that's typically my reply when people tell me that it's all folly, it's all foolishness. You're an idiot, you're a moron. I'm a better person because of it. So I'll gladly be the fool. And with that, we're hitting the half-hour mark. Thank you, everybody, for watching on the other platforms. If you do want to continue to watch Musings of a Madman and join me in conversation and everything else, head on over to Rumble Premium, or Rumble. Sign up for Rumble Premium. $10 a month. It's not that expensive. And help support a platform that offers people free speech, right? Offers them free speech. I have not once ever had a video taken down or reduced or deplatformed or demonetized. I think almost 100% of my videos were monetized. The only ones that weren't is some that I shared that, had maybe a copyright issue or something. But Rumble's been good. Rumble's been good. So come on over, guys. Come on over to Rumble. We're going to continue this over there. We'll dig into the rest of this, taking down the high places. And I'll see you guys on the other side.